What's good, everybody? And welcome if it's your first time being here. Welcome back if you're returning. I'm the Nappy Dreamer.
And I'm Kia Blaine,
And we are the
the
Melanin
Melanin
Mindset.
Mindset.
So tonight we have brought back our very special guest, Miss KayJay. So she is joining us down there on the screen as well. Thank you so much for coming back, KayJay.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, tonight we're going to be getting into the Black Church Experience Part 2. All right, so before Kia gets going into the thing that she does, I'm going to do the thing that I do,
You
okay?
do that thing you do.
So, number one, I need y'all to go ahead and hit that share button right now, no matter where you're viewing us from. Go ahead and hit share, okay? If you are watching us on YouTube and you have not already, go ahead and subscribe to Melanin Mindset. If you're viewing us on Facebook, the handle is just the same, so go ahead and follow us there too. We are on Instagram, Twitter, and I'm skipping one. Instagram, Twitter,
YouTube?
Oh, well, I hate
Facebook.
YouTube. Y'all, I'm forgetting one. This is the first. All right, so wait. Instagram, Twitter, Melanin Mindset _ and then the tick of the top at the Melanin Mindset. There we go. All right, so Kia, you go ahead and do the thing that you do, girl. Do the thing that you do.
So this is the Black Experience Part 2. So we already kind of did our definition of faith. The only one we're going to add is the definition of prosperity, because we're going to be talking a little bit about prosperity. And the definition of prosperity is the condition of being successful or thriving, especially economic well-being. So we're going to kind of talk about what part the church plays in our prosperity and the church being prosperous itself. We're going to kind of touch on that a bit. So one of the things that we kind of was talking about Black churches is, why does it always seem like Black churches are in poor communities? Not all, but for the most part, it seems like there's a lot that end up if you in a Black church, they seem to be more along those lines. And it might just be me, but
it's not just you, friend. You are so right.
It just seems like I'm gonna say that the majority seems like the majority are in impoverished areas. And why is that? Why do you think that is?
And I mean less than a mile, two of them.
I think if it's want me to answer that?
Yeah.
First of all, can we let everybody know that I'm not a professional, like all answers church person, but I have been in church my whole life. This is why I have these type of answers. Yeah. But I think it's important to understand that the church, when it was introduced to us back in slavery times, in a sense, the church was the only place where the Black person was a person. Where you could be somebody. You were no longer a boy. You were a deacon. You were a trustee. You were the pastor. The church was the only place where you had a title. You had the mothers and things of that nature, where you could go and you could feel like something. So I think that's why we do see a lot of churches in like more poverty-stricken places, and then a lot of churches too are family churches. The uncle felt like he's been called to preach, and so the whole family goes to that church, or the daddy started a church and things of that nature. So you probably, a lot of churches honestly started in people's homes, and from homes if they were able to buy something, and more than likely it's just in their area where they could afford. So I think when you go back to the basis of where church stemmed for the African American community, the Black folks, I think that's why you see a lot of there. You know what I mean? In those places, because that's where we live. And that's what we're trying to give hope, peace, joy in those areas, because we can relate to what, if I live around the corner from you, you know what I mean? If I'm living life with you, I can relate more to what you have going on. At least I should be able to, right? So that way I can teach you about the Bible and how you can implement that in your life. Because if I look like you, sound like you, talk like you should be able to receive Jesus from me that way. So that's what I believe is why I'm in, our communities like that.
So would you say that it's easier to encourage the person who is seeing, for lack of better words, eye to eye to you? So y'all are in the same general area or situation, so now you can connect to them better? Is that what you're saying? Or
no, I don't think that to be true. I don't think that that's the best way you can identify or talk to somebody, because we are eye to eye. Sometimes those be the main people that you don't see things with. Quite honest. I was just throwing out a plethora of different reasons as to why
they end up in those communities.
In our community. Because I mean, anybody's hood, to be honest, it's churches right next to each other. You know what I mean? And
Facts.
all
Big
type of different
facts.
denominations, which is crazy because I'm looking like, well, if the denominator, honestly, is Jesus, then we need to all get under one roof. You know what I mean? Like, so we can talk about this.
Let's do some basic math
Let's
here.
do some the math ain't mathing. Ain't no reason for this missionary.
Let's go ahead and take these fractions, get the greatest common denominator.
It's too much. I used to say
All
that as a
that.
kid. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and we would literally, my church was on 79th and Quincy, right smack in the hood. But on that corner, maybe like even in that block, was 4 or 5 different churches.
Wow.
Never made sense to me. I could literally cross the street. There was another church there. I can go down the street. There was another church. I could come out my parking lot, and our parking lot was connected to another church parking lot. I never understood the concept.
I never understood that either. And I'm from up north. I'm from Philadelphia. So I had never seen that until I started coming down south. And I was like, well, are these different churches or is it different buildings for the same church? I didn't understand.
And I think too, when it come down to it, a lot of people just when people get hit with, I will say, the Holy Ghost, right? And God gave them something. If you're not careful, you want to be the one in charge. You want to call the shots. So it's easier for me to create my own church, to be honest. You know what I mean? Do it my own way. Talk about things, set this up my own way instead of submitting myself to somebody else. I think it has a lot to do with not just personality conflicts, but pride. You know what I mean? It's a lot that comes into that because it's like you've seen a lot of churches too, like when the churches have split, you know what I mean? Or somebody has passed away, but then they don't want to go under new leadership. So like, oh, I'll just take this amount of the church and I'll go here. I mean, all type of things happen, for how churches even get created. But I just think the main point was, for African American, for Black people, the church was the place where you can go and you could be somebody. And you could be somebody and you could be comfortable in your area of doing it, right? It's just here recently when we started seeing these mega ministries blow up and it turned into thousands of members. You know what I mean? That goes into, but that's that's that on that.
That's that on that.
That's that on that. What's the Great Commission?
What you mean?
I don't know. That was a note that she put down, and I don't know.
Go to the highways and the hedges and compel them. Do you feel as though that we as the Black church are straying away from or not focusing in on what the Great Commission is?
Yeah, I had to be honest with you. I don't think we have answer, or let's put it like that. I don't think we all believe that there is one Great Commission. I think that's the problem. I think.
Wait, what is the Great Commission?
The Great Commission is to go into the highways and the hedges and compel them to come, basically. Do you feel like we're fulfilling the call? Like, are we answering the call?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of, that to me is, and I'm gonna just stand by but I just believe that everybody doesn't know what the Great Commission is, 1. 2, everybody does not agree on the Great Commission being the Great Commission. Do you get what I mean? The Bible is all based on your perception, your perspective, and what it makes, how you view it. As far as us being evangelists or going out from the highways to the byways, I'm paraphrasing you just because I don't remember everything you said. I don't know if we're doing that effectively. And honestly, I don't know if that's even on people's agenda anymore. It's very rare, and I've seen it a lot of places. I go to a lot of places, but it's very rare that you even see evangelism teams. It's very rare that you even see people going above and beyond. You know what I mean? And that's another thing too. Not just tell people about your church, but tell people about Jesus Christ. Those are two different things.
And see, that's where I feel like there's a mark being missed when it comes to that, for sure. Because it's like you're telling people, oh, come see me at my church. No. You don't need to tell them to come see you at your church. You take that moment that you have their attention to even spend the time to give them the address to the church, the phone number to. No. Use that time to try to reach them. Because clearly you have the door open for a reason. Like if you feel comfortable enough to tell somebody to come to your church, then you've opened the door. So you have the opportunity to tell them about Jesus Christ.
So that's a part of the Great Commission. It's like the church is it's beyond these 4 walls. Right. It should be going on in your everyday walk.
Yeah, because that's my thing though. I see people inviting people to their church, I do not see a grand people calling you to Jesus Christ. Because those
Right.
are two different things. I righteously don't have to go to your church to be invited to Jesus Christ.
Yes.
I don't
Facts.
see people having that conversation as a whole.
Facts.
So do you think that, like, because of how faith is and how people look at, your religion and things like that, I think a lot of the politics behind it has a lot to do with why people don't tend to reach out and say what they have to say. I'll give you an example because I teach. So in my teaching, sometimes speaking to a young lady who's going through something, I can't talk about them without telling them about God. Am I supposed to? No, but
Right.
I answer to a higher power than the people who sign that check. So I think, though, a lot of people are afraid for those reasons. Like, they won't say what, God is compelling them to do because of their environment, because they at work, or, those types of things.
I think I'm gonna take it a step further. I think people really don't know.
Oh,
I
that part
think
too.
you can't articulate something that has not really penetrated your heart. The harsh reality is we have a lot of churchgoers. We do not have a lot of believers. There's a
Ooh.
difference. You see
Oh,
what I'm
put that
saying?
on the caption.
So what's
Uh-oh,
happening
wait, you
is
said.
when you
I'm over here. I'm
That was a
captioning
good
as
one.
fast as I can caption. Hold
That
on. Say
was
that
a good.
again.
That was
but
a
do you
good
see
one.
what I'm saying?
I got it.
The truth is I can't tell you about something that has not come into my heart and my life and that has changed me. That is what it means by being a believer, by being converted by Jesus Christ. No, that does not make me perfect, right? Does not mean that
Facts.
I'm not without sin. Okay.
Facts.
But if I've never had an encounter personally, then honestly the only thing I can do is invite you to my church because my pastor said,
Yep.
my pastor said, instead of that conversation being, well, he did this for me. I used to be this. I'm no longer this. You know what I mean? Understanding the scripture, we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony.
Yes.
We've played this and we've played church so long. And as long as we know how to hook them aside and say whatever and sound like, you know what I mean? All these things, there's no real conversion. When there's no real conversion, I can't have a real conversation. You know what I mean? The reason you
Facts.
can talk to those girls about God, regardless if you're at church or whatever, because something has happened in your heart. You
Yeah.
know it to
Yes.
be true. I can only give you what worked for me, right? So that's when it flows out of you. Like, yeah, this is the job. Yeah, this is in that third. But let me tell you what worked for me.
Yes.
Problem, people really have not had an encounter and they really haven't had that on the inside of them, and we're just playing church. That I think that's what we're missing.
That's a whole fact. That's a whole fact. And a lot of people also, like you said, how that's missing. It's a big deal to realize when you come to that realization that your ministry is not how many scriptures you can throw at somebody. Because like they said,
Absolutely.
you're overcome by the words of we overcome by the words of our testimony. Like I might not be able to quote the exact scripture or take you to the exact page of the Bible, right? Where it's telling you exactly the words you need to hear, but we are connected somehow. So let me tell you what God has done for me in my life. Let me tell you the struggles that I dealt with or the things, the vices that I had that he released me from. And it's like you may not be able to necessarily turn the page, but you can definitely get them to open the book.
And I think too, not just the vices that I had past tense, but the vices that I have. I think one thing we do
Present
as
tense, yeah.
Christians, we never tell the truth, right? So we give like this watered
The whole
down
truth and nothing but the truth.
situation or version, right? We like to say, I'm set free. No, you're not. You're just not exposed. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
That part.
you just don't do it as often, but it still
You ain't
is a
been
thing.
caught.
Exactly, and I think that's the problem. We're not comfortable, and I don't want to go there. I think I'll be skipping over the thing. But when you're a church baby, to be quite honest, you are born and raised in hypocrisy. I hate to say it. Okay, it's just a lot of hypocrites in what you see every single day. And I'm talking about myself. I ain't talking about nobody else's church. Okay, I knew that Auntie so and so and Uncle so and so couldn't have had them kids. Them kids don't look like Uncle James. Like, let's
That
just
part.
somebody's lying. You understand?
Somebody not telling the truth.
All of y'all is 4'2", and he's 6'7". Something ain't right. But we gonna come in here and act like everything ain't okay. All that to say is we are not cultivated in Black church to be absolutely transparent, open, and honest.
Yeah.
We're cultivated to come in and put on your good Sunday clothes, put on your good face.
Your
This
tights, put on
how
your
you sit here,
stockings.
sit down, don't chew this, don't move like this, don't this, that, and the third. And instead of being able to come into a place and say, we have issues,
Yeah.
we have
Facts.
problems, and please lead me to the scripture that I could take home to apply to my life so we can deal with that. We don't, well, that's not how we
And you
raise.
know what though? Like I understand the whole, putting on the brave face, or so for lack of a better term, but it's just like when it's brought up or it's questioned, that's when I feel like the humbleness needs to come that a lot of people in church don't have. Like you
Right.
said,
Yeah,
like
we don't
it,
have it.
it like you said, if we in church and you putting on your best clothes and you're looking like a happy family, but if somebody was to question like how your son end up light skinned and both y'all dark skinned, like instead of taking offense to that, that's a moment, that's an opportunity for a testimony.
Oh,
Yep.
absolutely. If God has come into your heart,
Yeah.
and if you understand, no, you see what I'm saying? Like I tell people all the time, you
Yes.
can't heal what you won't expose.
Yes.
Facts.
If we can't expose it,
Oh, I'm typing that
all
one
I'm
too.
all I'm
Listen,
doing
you
is
cannot heal what
like
you
I'm
didn't
just,
expose.
you see what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like, all I'm doing is kind of just pampering everything, which
Yes.
is causing us to continue to lie or to be fake. Because to omit the truth is still a lie. You see what I'm
Facts.
saying? So I guess at the end of the day, and I think too, we just have to, we just gotta go back to the basics, and we gotta read that word for ourselves. I thank God for our grandmamas and granddaddies and great grandmas and great dad that have prayed us all the way through, but that is not enough, right? And we have the traditions, we have the rituals, but until you get that conversion in your heart, inside of you, we gonna keep like it's the same cycle. You know what I'm saying? And the problem
Mm-hmm.
is with the church is supposed to, somebody said, it's a hospital. We're supposed to
Yes.
get healed, not judged. But the church doesn't even set up a space for you to even ask questions. I've never went into a Sunday service where I could, while he's preaching, I could raise my hand and say, "Hey, bro, I don't understand what you just said." Like that's the truth.
When you
Yeah.
do, I want to be there.
And when
Please
I
let me
get,
know.
and watch this, it'll probably be at the church that I create. You get what I'm
Mm.
saying? Because it's like at the end of the day, everything you're saying makes sense, but everybody in here does not learn the same way. Everybody,
Yes.
the light bulbs are not going off at the same time. Not saying open up your church and we all just ask questions. No. But what I am saying is, if we're going to really be about the gospel and kingdom, we need to just make some tweaks and some turns into some things where people can ask. It amazes me. I'm 38. I'll be 39. How many people I've gone to church with, grown up with, who still inbox me and ask me, "Well, why do we believe in the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost?"
Wow.
We were sitting in the same Sunday school, fam.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We came, and I'm not talking about people I just met. I'm talking about people who I consider, you know what I mean? Like we all sitting on this same pew, and I still got people that'll be like, I never even heard God. I don't know what they're talking about when they say God spoke to me. Well, we need not to keep coming in here
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
shouting and falling out on the floor
Oh
if
Lord.
we haven't been. But the harsh reality is that came because I had a personal relationship with them. You know what I mean? They felt comfortable enough
Yes.
to ask me that. We got
Yes.
leader Bible studies do work. Bible studies
Yeah.
are amazing. Picking a Bible book or even a book that goes with the Bible is amazing too, because it shows you that what these biblical principles are, they work everywhere. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be all over the place, but there's this book called The Secret. I don't know if y'all ever read it. I'm
Yes.
not promoting no books or anything, but they have all these principles on how you can manifest stuff into your life, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Y'all, two parts of it, all they're doing is quoting scripture. So when I'm reading it, it doesn't say Jesus, of course. It says the
Mm-hmm.
master teacher or there was a teacher. But all
Yes.
the things that he said in red that we that
Yep.
we've read
Mm-hmm.
are the same principles that businesses and other people take. We have to show people how this is not a Sunday, Wednesday thing. This is a
Mm-hmm.
life changing situation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lifestyle.
Facts.
You know what I mean? It's a lifestyle. But
Facts.
I don't know what the original question is. I'm all over the place. But I just don't feel like we are open enough to have that conversation, nor are we open enough to be okay when people ask us questions. We shut down, we get mad, we get defensive. Well, this is why my grandma did it. This is how we've been doing Women's Day. This is how
Yeah.
we've been doing this for the trust. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we doing this? Who is getting the glory out of this?
Somebody in the comments says the Bible, and I'm not putting it on the screen, but it just made me giggle. The Bible is better than Test a Lion. Listen,
Facts.
but hear me out, okay? It's that vulnerability that KayJay was talking about, that transparency that makes it. It's not a testimony if it's not the true
If it's not the
reflection
truth.
of your test, okay?
Yes.
So if
Absolutely.
it's not reflecting your test, it's not a testimony. So,
Mhm.
but I love that you said it like that. It's hilarious, nonetheless. But but the fact is, it's that vulnerability, because we were discussing about vulnerability and people's inability to express or show or be transparent in what they're going through. Like, I like how you said it's not about your past tense, it's about present tense too. It's the things that you're currently fighting with, not just the
Absolutely.
things you used to fight. It's the
Yeah.
things you're currently battling with, the struggles you're in your faith even. Like, I had a hard time understanding certain things. Tell somebody that. Like, the
Yep.
fact that they're questioning it, the way they're saying what they're saying, the way they're contradicting or confused about what's going on, don't be afraid to tell them, I was there too. I went through the
Absolutely.
same thing, and express to them what you did, because it's not about them doing exactly what it was that you did. That's not what we're asking of them. It's not for them to walk in your same footsteps. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You gotta tell them at the very least the pathway, so that way they can
Yes.
at least get headed in the right
So
direction.
they can at least have some type of
Yeah,
hope.
in the right, just
Hope.
headed that
Hope.
way. You know what I'm
And
saying?
even though just because my struggle is not your struggle does not mean that I don't have struggles. And I
Right.
think that is what the problem is. And we shy away from certain things because, we all different decades, different, generations
Mhm.
have been handled with different things. No, I don't understand why anybody would want to go on Snapchat and show all their goods and do God knows what and then be offended when it goes around the school. Don't make sense to me. However, there's a generation of people who are going through this.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yes.
I talk to you about your self-esteem. I talk to you about your worth. I talk to
Right.
you about making sure you understand what I'm saying. Instead of me being like,
Mhm.
I don't know why you did that. That's nasty. That don't make no sense. That's no. There
Yes.
was something in their psyche that thought that it was okay. But let's bring this back. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
And
It's
that's
not
the
about pointing
problem.
that out. It's not
Yeah,
about pointing that flaw
it's
out.
not. It's not.
Mm-mm.
And I think that's what the church does, and we're guilty of that in so many
Mm.
areas. That is
You
that
said that.
as soon as it's something that we frown upon, as
Yes.
soon as it's something that honestly, and I've seen this too, a lot of I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. But the point is,
Come on, let's go. Go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on
the
in.
point is, it's some. I've seen that when people are faced with themselves through other people, because it's easier for you not to deal with it, you shun it instead of
Mm.
accepting it or even saying, hey, this is a struggle, or this is something that I've seen before, or this is something that I've done. You know what I mean? And I had to deal with too, especially, and I'll just use like parenting. When you have children, at the end of
Mhm.
the day, your kid is, they're not doing something absolutely brand new.
Yes.
They're just bringing out things that you thought they never should know nothing about. You get
Yes.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So what happens
Mhm.
is, like, I got a son. He says and do stuff that he wouldn't have never known. He wasn't alive to know. But I see
Yeah.
parts of me and in him, and I'm like, oh, I can identify that. Wait a minute, baby, don't do that. You know what I mean? Wait a minute, hon. Let me talk to you about. But the generation before us, like my mama, they didn't talk about stuff like that.
No.
They
Yeah.
they just slapped your hand like, stop doing that. That's the
Like, you're
devil.
not supposed to do that. That's not
You,
how you're supposed to do things.
you
Like, but wait. So are you? Do you know I'm not supposed to do that because you used to do
thank you. Where you think I got this from?
it?
Mhm.
I
Like,
used to
this
tell
Mhm.
ain't
my
new.
mama. I used to tell my mama, somebody lying, because I was born into this, so somebody trying to
Yes.
see me. So,
Mm.
but if you're not okay with talking about that, or if
Yeah.
somebody told you that you're not supposed to say that out loud, then it gets, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It could be a lot. It could be a whole lot.
A
Hey,
whole
Ma, if
Yeah.
you
lot.
watching, I still love you.
Listen, that's my weekly redemption. Like, my, yeah,
And
I
I
love you
just feel
too.
like I feel like our generation and older, just because we grew up in church and all those types of things, we just know we need to have a relationship with God. But these new news, I'm just like, how I like I told you, I'm not like all in a church like that currently. But I often, like, my heart just struggles to go, how do you reach this generation as a church?
Hold on. I want to bring this one up real quick because we're going to cut the commercial. But did you see this one over there? Sometimes it's hard to tell people what you've gone through because they miss the message of what God brought you out of. They instead dwell on what you went through. That's the risk that we take.
It
Yeah.
is. And
That's the risk that
once
we
you
take.
release it, once you've released it, it's no longer your problem. It's no longer your problem how they take it.
Right.
Mm-mm.
It don't matter how
That
they
ain't none
look
of
at
your
you.
business.
And
That's
the
their
thing
business.
is, when you find people like that, because people project, right, who they are and what their problem is. If I sat in here and told you what God has brought me out of, and the only thing that you could dwell on is whatever it was that I was dealing with, well, God bless you. I'm gonna pray for you. You get what I mean? Because you've
Yes.
missed the whole entire point.
Yeah, because if God released me from it, you can't hold it over me.
But it's not enough for me to stop telling my story, because the point is for us to plant seeds. I'm not supposed to sit here and watch it grow. It's not gonna happen that way. You see what I mean? But I'm also not gonna. People gonna say stuff regardless. They gonna say stuff like, even if you don't testify, somebody gonna say something. You know what I mean? Just don't let that be a hindrance, as to why you don't share.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go over this one real quick and then we're gonna run on. We're gonna do our commercial. Go ahead, Kia.
Linda said a lot of older church members are guilty of condemning the younger generations. We seem to forget the behaviors we once did. We should be there for them. And that was kind of like what you guys were saying. Like, okay, if you say it's wrong, then help me, show me in the Bible, or show me how to walk out of this walk.
Right.
Rather than, like you said, the girl on Snapchat, like, that was dumb. Why you do that?
Yeah. But I learned too. I'm very vocal at my church. I get in trouble a whole lot, but they still love me.
That's good.
That's
We had a meeting with older ladies, and I was very emotional, and I kept telling them the Bible said y'all supposed to talk to us. Y'all supposed to teach us things. We supposed to learn from y'all. I said, and y'all don't even speak to us. Y'all don't say nothing at all. Y'all don't teach us. Now you don't even pull my coattail if I don't got on the slip. You know, like, I don't understand. And one of the older ladies, she really shook me. She said, I'm not being funny to you. She said, I don't identify with what you've gone through. She said, so I don't even feel like I have anything to say to you. I was told not to leave my husband. Y'all get married and leave in 2 years if y'all don't like it. I don't know nothing about that. Like, so when you put it like that, in a sense, sometimes with the older generation, they don't know what to say because they don't identify at all. You know what I mean? Like, they just don't see it. So I think that's another to keep in mind too. Just because they're older don't mean that they're even, you know what I mean, like, with all the answers in a sense, or know how to even come to you about stuff, as well. Just a thought.
so valid. So I'm gonna go ahead and run the commercial real quick. You all, we are so happy to be brand ambassadors for Dianu Apparel. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this. What's good, Mindset family? The Melanin Mindset is thrilled to announce we are the newest brand ambassadors for Dianu Apparel. Dianu Apparel is a Black-owned apparel company that offers trendy African-inspired prints in each and every garment. They're offering our listeners 15% off their purchases just by using promo code Melanin Mindset. There's something for him, there's something for her, and there's even something for the kids. So head right over to dianu.com using the description link down below, or just simply enter Melanin Mindset at checkout and save today. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging with us. Again, we are so excited to be brand ambassadors for Dianu Apparel. If you use promo code Melanin Mindset at checkout or down below in our description box, go ahead and click the link for your orders. You will save 15%. And I said this last time, but I'm going to say it again just in case you didn't hear. It's on clearance too, okay? And which ones was it, friend? They take Afterpay, y'all. They take Zip, and them people approve everybody. Okay?
You can make payments if you need to.
Period. Okay, so go ahead and head on over to Dianu and get your clothes. They literally have things from casual, athleisure, all the way up to formal wear. And then they even have those matching sets for the people that are into those types of things. All right? So we thank you in advance for your support. Let's go ahead and get back into the Black Church Experience. Wait, subscribe if you are watching us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Like us on Instagram, Melanin Mindset _ as well as Twitter, Melanin Mindset _ And we'll keep y'all going and updated on things that are happening. Watch us on TikTok, The Melanin Mindset. Get back
Fine.
to it, y'all. Go ahead. Get back to that thing we was talking about.
She gonna say get back to it like we remember where we left off. Like we
We were
just was
discussing.
paused in the middle of a
Right.
sentence.
Like we don't know. Like we went on a commercial break too.
I'm going back looking at the notes like where were we? I don't
Oh
know.
my gosh. So we were talking, someone commented and said, but sometimes people stay stuck on what you went through instead of
Mm-hmm.
worrying about what it is, where you are.
Brought out of,
Like
yeah.
they're stuck
Mm-hmm.
on your past. And so it feels like it's looming over people. And I just kind of said at the end there with the, if God brought me out of it, brother, you can't hold it over me. Don't matter who you is. Okay.
Right.
And I'm saying it just like that. Like you can't hold it over me. So the thing that I dealt with, the thing that I went through is something that matter with you if you stuck
Yeah.
on the stuff that I've been dealing with.
Absolutely.
And that leads us to the comment that you put down here, friend. The constant criticism with no solutions. Sometimes
Yes.
people go to church and they feel like I'm getting beat over the head, and I am not having any solution be brought to me. Now that is not for every church, but
Mm-hmm.
that is something that I have heard my fair share of as well. It's
Really?
like I can't, because that conviction that they feel, and conviction is a good thing. But here's the deal: if you don't understand what conviction is, then you just feel like you're getting singled out or picked on.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So it's like, are we taking the time to explain and help people understand what the heck conviction even is? Like, what is this feeling that I feel, and what can I do with that feeling? The idea is that when you feel that feeling, that you make choices to rectify said feeling. And it works
Yeah.
like that in your regular life. So in your walk with faith, it's going to be the same deal. It's just that people don't realize it because they think when I go to church, when I change, and everything's just going to be right.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's just going to be better. And that's not the case. So
Yeah. I
when
don't
you
know why
go
anybody
in,
would feel like that though. That I don't. That's a lot of
I,
pressure.
I I think a lot of people. I think some people who have pretty much gone through the whole ignoring God their whole life,
Okay.
and still not being able to have any type of peace in their life will in turn turn to the church and feel like this would be my solution, but it's not like that. Coming to church just don't make everything better. Or just saying it's still a walk, like you were saying, it's
Absolutely.
everyday walk. It's not
Yeah.
just it's not a quick fix.
No, not at all. It's an ongoing. The best definition I heard about being saved, this man said, it's an ongoing conscious decision to do
Hmm.
things like Christ.
Absolutely.
Not every day, every moment. I could
Every
wake up
moment.
just fine, but then something
every
happens to me.
step,
You know what I mean? That makes me be like, oh, wait a, I have to choose to do the opposite of what my flesh would want me to do. You know what I mean? And that's, I think, again, we're just not explaining it to people. We're not explaining
facts.
to people at all, and that's something we need
Hmm.
to explain it. And I think when we start, I think we talked about this at the last time we met. When we start looking through the different lenses of how we are presenting our church and our sermon series and our revivals and all that
Mm.
stuff, we should be able to go back and make some tweaks and some turns. For those who
Yes.
are members here, I'm not trying to make you feel like an outsider. Let me give you a recap and explain why we're talking about
Yes.
blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
let me
Hmm.
explain to you why we're doing a 21-day fast. Let me
Yes.
explain. Let me put some things out there. Especially now that everything's so virtual, I think there needs to be more commentary. You can't just
Facts.
assume that when people log on to your stream,
Use those overlays. Those
Hmm.
yeah,
overlays that we
that
put
they
our
just want to,
definitions on, use
yeah,
those, okay?
Yes.
yeah, and make sure your media team paying attention because some stuff don't need to be streamed. Turn it off.
Yes.
Period.
It's too confusing.
So Sharita is clarifying, I believe. She said we're talking about the older generation not relating to young people. So what she's
Oh,
saying is that with her
She
comment
said that's
for
where
the
we. No, she
yeah.
said that's where we left off.
Oh,
She
that's where
was
we left off.
responding to us saying, "Where did we leave off?"
where did we leave off to? Yeah.
Sharita girl, I thought you was like trying to add to what you had said. I could see the connection though, just so you know. I see
Yeah.
Yeah.
that connected to your comment. So
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
bad.
Mhm.
So but yeah, I put on the screen what Princess Anne said. They don't
Mhm.
want to get cursed out. The younger generation do not mind being rude. So how do you approach that? I will just make a small comment and then give the floor to Kia and KJ on this one.
Mm.
But as far as I agree. There's some young people who don't have that filter, and they don't. But it is definitely. I want to say, y'all know how the song goes, says, "I'm a soldier on the battlefield." and I'm fighting, fighting for the Lord. Yes, that it's not for the faint of heart. That's a fact. Ministry is not for the faint of heart, but you are equipped when you make the decision. But it's not for the faint of heart.
I think it just goes. That's funny. God's still working on me. Any of my teenagers or somebody young in my church cut somebody out, you catching all this smoke. It's nothing.
I'm an energy matcher. I'm an energy
matcher. And then I guess my thing is too, it's about your approach. It's about how you go to that person, right? It's about what you say, you know what I mean? And then it's about how that person receives it. Here's the thing too. Everybody know when they're doing something wrong. That's not a up for debate. It's just some people don't care.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. So I feel like you are being led by the Holy Ghost to say something to somebody. For example, I went to go sing at a concert. At the time, I was wearing a mohawk shade down on the side.
Oh, you was fly. You was fly.
Honey, you could not tell me nothing.
Hey.
Now, I have been invited. I've been booked. I've been paid. I'm sitting on the front row. Somebody is holding my bag. 2 older ladies walk up to me and they literally say, "We want to pray for you because we're going to pray this homosexual spirit off of you."
This what?
I have a sound for that.
This what? This who?
This is before the concert, like before the concert's about to take off. I said, "Well, mother, you can pray for me." I said, "Homosexuality is not the spirit that I'm wrestling. But let's pray." Take her hands, we pray. All right, I get up to sing. Church goes in a frenzy. I be thinking I'm Fantasia Jr., honey.
Okay.
After the concert, these same 2 young ladies or older ladies come to me and say, "You know what? We just need to apologize to you because we thought that because of how your hairstyle was, this is who you were." I said,
"They really said it was because of your hairstyle?"
Because of my hairstyle.
Hold up,
and
friend,
I looked at them and said,
"I told you what happened with my nose ring."
The nose ring.
I told you what happened. I sang on the praise and worship team at my church. Back where I was before I came here, and when my nose first got pierced, and then I had like a little mini hoop in my nose. I was pulled to the side and told, "Do you realize what you're representing?" It's not saying, they told me straight up, they're not gonna say that it's in the Bible that I shouldn't have my nose pierced, but you have to always be mindful of what you represent when you stand before the people. And I was just kind of like, so what?
What am I representing?
Even when it comes down to my tattoos, because I am tatted. Okay, I've had people literally say, "You are clearly a Jezebel spirit. You're trying to come in here to sway the prophet of the house." I've had people say all type of stuff
because of the tattoos.
Here's my point, though.
Jezebel ain't had no tats.
Well, Jezebel. Well, listen. Well, let me give a little history lesson. Jezebel was not tatted, but a lot of her homegirls were. And they were literally sent out to get the, not Israelites, but the believers, the prophets and all them, they swayed them into loving other gods.
Okay.
That's where tattoos came from, in a sense. So it has that negative connotation in a sense. However, my point was this. The Holy Ghost didn't lead you to say that to me.
That part. Don't put, I always be saying that. I don't put this on God.
These are things and traditions
that
and
was
ways
you.
of you.
That was you.
I don't know why you thought it was okay to share it. You know what I mean? However, you showed who you were, not me. You understand what I'm saying? And they do be coming from my salvation. My salvation is personal. That's on the inside of me.
Yeah.
Hello.
I don't know what has happened to me since these tattoos.
Yes.
You don't know what happened to me since these nose piercings or this shaved head. So again,
or this hair color, or these locks, all of that.
It's a catch-22 in a sense, because I'll be like, yes, mama, you old enough to be my grandma. I'm never going to disrespect you.
Facts.
But baby girl, calm that down. You get what I'm saying? That wasn't God that sent you to me. And God does not expose or come to hurt. That's not who he is.
Mm-hmm.
So when that's the way it's given, that's why people give you smoke. I just was raised different. You know what I'm saying? I just was raised different. I see my grandma, and I wish somebody would have cussed my grandma out. I'm going to jail.
Yes.
Period. You get what I'm saying? So I try to treat, but everybody wasn't raised the same. So all I have to say is, when older people are afraid to go to the younger generation, just make sure it's really by God. Because regardless of my response, if God told you to tell me something, tell me.
Yes. Yeah.
It,
And
tell me.
I honestly feel like if it really did come from God, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be received the way it was supposed to be received. If
Yeah,
God moved you to confront that younger person, or even
absolutely.
your peer, if it was from God and you really felt as though God moved you to do that, then it will be received. Not to the point where I'm gonna cuss you out about it.
Right. And you want to know why it's going to be conceived, I mean,
Mm,
received, and why I'm going to be convicted? It's because we're all spirit.
yes.
So if it really was God, if it really was in the spirit of healing and helping and putting me on the right track, I could take those hard words
Yeah.
from you if you
Mm-hmm.
gave it to me the right way.
Right.
Yes.
Because unless it's a younger person, right? A much younger. I'm saying younger in the sense of their parents pretty much drugged them in the building that day.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you from the time that I was, how old was I? Probably about 22 up to present day. I went because I wanted to go. You
I
get what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Girl.
I went
Yeah.
because I wanted to go. So those young people who are showing up on their own in their own Prius or their own, what is that, hybrid
Not the
car?
not
All
the
right,
Prius.
yes, the Prius, girl. The one they
Mm.
showing up in their hybrids. Listen, playing they CCM on the radio when they come into the parking lot. When they come
Mm-hmm.
inside, okay, they came by their own free will. So when you come to
Absolutely.
them with that harsh approach, it turns them right back around out of the door. Like you
Yeah.
cannot walk up on me with no smile on your face or at least a relaxed grin. You know what I'm saying? Like a smug
Right.
expression or something.
And
Like you
tell me
can't walk up.
you gonna pray the homosexuality out of me because of my hairdo.
And then how about this? Let's just say, KJ, let's just say that's something somebody dealing with. Kia, hear me out. If somebody's actually dealing with that situation and God is really sending you to speak to them, then they'll receive the words you're giving no matter what they are. You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
in that situation, that was all them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
And that's
lot of
another.
us is you're walking in your own personal preferences,
And
not.
a lot of thing that throws me too. I don't mean to cut you off. I just don't want to lose it,
Mhm.
especially with older people in the church. Where they miss is that they also don't operate in the heart of their pastor, their leaders. So a
Mhm.
Mm.
lot of times when those young people are coming to your church, especially at my church right now, you've had some type of encounter with my pastor somewhere, right? Out
Okay.
the basketball court. My pastor will play in the gym in the basketball court. I never forget the day I seen him. I said, "Are you supposed to be in here?" He said, "I am human. Why can't I be in here?" Okay. My first lady, she still go get her face done, her nail. She's around a lot of people. So again, the when you know the heart of your leaders and how
Mm-hmm.
they love on any and everybody, it's absolutely the audacity of someone else, you know what I mean, to act totally different from how your leaders would act
Yeah.
is a problem in the house too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Mm.
So
Yes.
I think that has a lot to do with it too. If God sends you, He will send you with great. Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. That's the
Mm-hmm.
truth. Because I've
Mm-hmm.
had people come to me with some very disturbing things, I would say, very on constructive criticism, but given to me in so much love, I couldn't do nothing but cry and say thank you.
Yeah.
I just appreciate you being bold enough to even deliver that to me. I feel sorry for the messenger. Like, I know if
Mm-hmm.
that's what God gave you to give to me, I am so sorry. I am so sorry you had to be the one to tell me, honey. And thank you. Thank you for being obedient, and you can bridge a relationship there. But
Oh man.
that has a lot to do with it.
I can't deal. I can't deal. Kia, so we got a couple of other things here on the list. I have, can you be led by a church that is failing? Or things like when only the pastor seems like he's succeeding. If you're broke, busted, and disgusted, how are the people being led by you? Or how
So I've
are.
seen I've seen this happen before where
Yeah, explain it to me.
let's
Explain it.
say it's like one of those smaller churches, right? Small church
Okay.
in a low impoverished area. And then, somebody or some family in the church, hits it big. Their business is flourishing, they starting to make money. They're exceeding what financially what the church is. And then it turns into the, well, can you help us with this? Can you help us with this? And in turn, that family tends to pull away from their church and either A, start their own or go to a more prosperous church.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience in that. Most of my churches that I went to, I ain't trying to be funny. The deacons was balling. The deacons, they wives. I mean, I grew up watching. I grew up seeing Cadillacs, Lexus, all that in the middle of the hood. It was
Yeah.
almost as if, but entrepreneurship was taught in my church in Sunday schools. How to manage your money, investments, ROIs, and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? That was. It
And
was just a matter
I
of.
think that's something that's where it should be taught, because a
Oh,
lot of times,
absolutely.
unless you grew up, if your family grew up with that knowledge, then okay, good, you're gonna have it, but they're
Right.
not teaching it at school, so where
Right.
else are we gonna get it from?
Yeah, I think when you have that type of situation, um, you just have to be like wise, if that makes any sense. Because I
Mhm.
guess the first question is like, how do you stay at a church that's failing? Well, what does that mean by failing? Because who are we comparing ourselves to? You see what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
just because my church is not as big as Jake's or Michael Todd doesn't mean that my small storefront church is not successful. You see what I'm saying? So like, what
Mhm.
exactly do we mean like by that?
Oh wow,
But
we got. I was trying to read the comment that
I
came up
was
over here.
too, because I think it
Yeah,
all ran together.
yeah. So I'm gonna just start it off. So that's not always the truth because everyone has their time. It may take people longer to come to that realization. I myself have been told things, even by people I love, but meaning well, and even saying things. One second here, nicely, but I wasn't ready to receive those words. So I would get angry and offended. But it took God working on me and me being willing. Katie,
Okay.
thank you.
That's
That
good.
is that is that is
Mhm.
that is nice. Thank you,
But
KJ.
Mhm.
that's being, and I appreciate you being honest. That's you being accountable for where you were at the time. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah.
good. That was good. But
Yes, kudos, Katie girl.
yeah, I don't know. It was something about failing. What was the other part of that question though?
When only
Oh,
the
when
pastor
we
is
were just
growing.
saying, when I think what the comment was, failing, just failing financially.
Oh, okay.
Just but like you said your church, all the deacons was balling, but that's not
Yeah.
always the case.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I
Hmm.
think with that, that's again, it goes back to my original comment. A lot of people just churchgoers, they're not believers, and
Hmm.
you have to. I always try the spirit by the spirit, especially now that I'm older. You understand what I'm saying? And I try to
Hmm.
look at the crowd and look at the common, like what's going on in here outside of the spirituality, what's really happening here. And I think people just have to be honest with themselves before joining and attaching yourself just because this is a church, just because this
Yes.
person say they're a pastor, just because they this, that, and the third. When the fruits of it don't line up, I don't think that's where you really need to stay or be. You know what I mean? But I personally, I like to see my leaders be, in a sense, well off, got money,
Yes.
doing different things. I need to
Hmm.
know and see that it's possible. You see what I'm saying? Like, I need to see that that's something that I can strive to as well.
Hmm.
Yes,
Mm.
that is so valid. KJ, we really do appreciate you coming back out with us tonight to continue the conversation on the Black Church experience. We really appreciate having you, friend. Did you have anything to throw on there?
I don't.
All right, so I'm gonna give it to him one last time before I tell him what we're doing next week. All right, so if you have not already, go ahead and subscribe. We are on the road to 100 subscribers. Now, granted, I have not checked today, so give me 1 second. I'll check it right now. All right, we are on our road to 100 subscribers. So we are asking if you are viewing us on YouTube right now and you are not, y'all, we only need two. Now I know it's two of y'all out there right now. I know it's two of y'all right now that's watching and you're not subscribed, and I need it to be you, okay? We are at 98 subscribers. All right. So if you are viewing right now, you are not subscribed, please go ahead and hit that button. If you're already subscribed, share it with someone you care about. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We are everywhere. All right. And we've got a lot more coming in your direction. All
Hmm.
right, we really do. So, first thing I want to bring up is what we're talking about next week. Y'all, we about to talk about the financial building blocks. We have an amazing speaker that's going to be with us to chat out the conversation of where you even get started. Her name is Quanisha James, and she is the owner of Budget Smudget. And she is coming out to talk about the road to financial readiness, for lack of better words. Okay, so she'll be sharing with us some tips and some bits of information, and you want to be here to discuss that. So just please make sure you tune in with us next week. Last thing, don't forget, pre-orders are still going on right now for the Melanin Mindset t-shirt. Go ahead and get yours for just $25. All right, and you'll be in the first to receive your shipment of your Melanin Mindset family shirt. All right, and it'll allow you to help support us as we continue to bring content to all of our viewers. So the tip of the week, friend, go ahead and hit them with something. Or KJ, would you like to encourage the people?
Yes, I would just like to say, please, please do not give up. You are not the only person that is tired, that feels like life is coming on from different areas, different ways. Settle yourself, take a break, and jump right back in the game. But don't give up. Don't quit. Like, it's too much at stake. This is the year that God is going to show out on your behalf, and I don't want you to miss it. So
Oh,
that's what
I
I got.
mean, I'll take
Yeah,
it.
Listen, I'm
good,
taking it. I'm taking
good,
it.
good. It's the truth, y'all.
Yes,
It's the truth.
absolutely. So thank you so much again,
Thank you,
KJ, for being with us.
KJ.
Thank you for having me, y'all.
Wait, tell them how they can find you one last time before I run this outro.
Right now, you can find me on Instagram at All Things Karla. I'm doing some revamping things, but that's where you can find me right now.
All right.
Nice.
So again, thank you so much for tuning in with us tonight. And KJ, thanks for coming back, girl.
Thank y'all for having me. Love y'all.
Love you.